Hi everyone, in this video we're gonna work on a final exam practice, a review test for DMAT or developmental mathematics. Okay, the first question says to subtract and simplify. We have 7 over 10 minus 1 over 15. So the objective of this question is to be able to do the operation between two fractions. In order for us to do that, we have to get these two fractions into one fraction. In other words, we want to find the common denominator between them two, and then we'll do the operations of the numerator and simplify. So let's see how that looks like. So the first fraction, the denominator is 10. The second one, the denominator is 15. So if I have to break it into single numbers or prime numbers, it means that if I go with 10, the prime number of 10 be 2, 5, and 5, then 1. So 10 can be rewritten as 2 times 5. 15, 2, it will give you a decimal, so we won't use 2. We go to the next digit is 3. 3 will yield to 5. 5, you cannot divide it by 2 because it's going to give a decimal. 3 will give a decimal. 4 will give a decimal. So then you go to 5. 5 divided by 5, it gives 1. So 15 can be rewritten as 3 times 5. So then my fractions here become 2 times 5 here and 3 times 5. So I can see both the denominator have 5, but one has 2, the other one has 3. In order for them to match, the first fraction is missing a 3, right? So I'll do 2 times 3 times 5. So because I included the 3 in the bottom, I have to include the 3 on the top to keep this fraction equivalent, because that way those 3 can cancel. It will still yield to the previous fraction. Now the second fraction, we say that it was missing the 2, right? So then if I include the 2 here, then I write the rest will be 3 and 5. Now I have the 1, I have to multiply by 2 on top. So meaning that the 2 I can cancel from that fraction. It will leave me with the way the fraction was previously. I'm doing this that way we can have the same denominator for both fractions. So the top one, 7 times 3 gives 21. I have 2 times 3 times 5 on the bottom, minus 2. I have 2 times 3 times 5, right? So now we know 2 times 3 times 5 is equal to 30. In other words, we're saying 21 over 30 minus 2 over 30. Now we have the same denominator. Then we can combine the numerator, and this will equal to 19 over 30. Remember, the goal of this question is for you to be able to do the operations of fractions. In order for you to do that, you want to put all the fractions into one fraction. You want to write it into one fraction and then simplify if possible. So from here, I look at the denominator of the two fractions. I try to set it to the same fraction. Alright, let's look at the next question. Alright, so the next one here, say to simplify the given expression and enter your answer in numerical terms. I have 5 plus 8, 2 plus 1, Remember, in mathematics, when you use parentheses, it just helps you to understand the priority. So basically, in other words, it tells you, hey, whatever that is in the parentheses, you gotta either do it, that part first before you do anything else outside that parenthesis. So I guess what that means from here, I'll write 5 plus 8. Then I'll do the operation that is inside the parentheses first. 2 plus 1 gives 3. Then I go to 8 square. 8 square is equal to 64 plus 6. Then I do 5 plus. Multiplication always comes first. When you have multiplication and you have addition, you gotta multiply first before you do any addition. So in this case, 8 times 3 is 24. 64 over plus 6 is 70. And this will yield to 29 over 70. Alright, next one, the temperature recorded in Antarctica. Yeah, I did it right. Oof. Antarctica is negative 116 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature recorded in Sahara Desert is 131 degrees Fahrenheit. How many degrees warmer is 131 degrees Fahrenheit than negative 116 degrees? So I'll draw the number line here. Have 0 here. So if we put the numbers, negative 115 will land somewhere here, and then 131 will land right here. So in other words, here what I want you to do is they're telling you to go from here to this point over here, how many degrees you have to have in order to get to there. So since we are negative 116, from negative 116 to 16, that means you have to go to 116 units. And then from 116, from 0 to 131, you have to go 131 units. So that means if we add these two, we're gonna get 247. So that means to go from negative 116 degree Fahrenheit to 131 degree Fahrenheit, you have to go by 247 degree Fahrenheit warmer. Alright, here they say to do the division. Then negative 8 over 11, and we are dividing that by negative 3 over 4. So the trick here is when you're doing the division of fractions, you can change division of fractions into the multiplication of fractions. It's easier to multiply fractions than to divide fractions. So when you have to do the division of fractions, always find a way to convert it into the multiplication of fractions. So to convert that, we do negative 8, 11. When we change that division into multiplication, then the next fraction that comes, you have to flip the numerator and the denominator. So here it's gonna be negative 4 over 3. So the numerator becomes the denominator and vice versa. And then from here, when we do the multiplication of fractions, you multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So that's gonna be negative 8 times negative 4, it yields 32. 11 times 3, 33. Next, if x equals to negative 5 and y equals to negative 5, They say to evaluate the expression of 2 minus 4x divided by y plus 5. In other words, they're just telling you from this expression, replace x and y by the values provided. So that would be 2 minus 4 minus 5. So this, it's 2 minus 4 times minus 5. It's not minus 4 minus 5. It's 2 minus 4 times minus 5. Remember that. And at the bottom, we have negative 5 plus 5. So on the top, we have 2. Remember, multiplication comes first. So I will not do 2 minus 4 yet. I'll do the minus 4 times minus 5 because multiplication takes priority over addition or subtraction. So negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Down here, negative 5 plus 5. On top, we get 22. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. When we have a number divided by 0, this yield to undefined. Alright, solve the equation provided. So we have we have 1 minus 4 times a plus 1 equals 7 plus a. In other words, they're just telling you to solve for a. So, alright, I say first we do whatever that is inside the parentheses. But we can see that you cannot add a number in the letter, so there is nothing much we can do there. So that means now we gotta expand it, go outside of the parentheses. But we have there's a number that's being multiplied by the expression inside the parenthesis. And then to do that, we're gonna use the distributive property. So it means that we take the negative 4, we'll multiply it by 4, and then we'll take the negative 4 again, we'll multiply it by 1. Then we'll get 1. Negative 4 times a will become negative 4a. Negative 4 times 1, it'll become just negative 4 equals 7 plus a. So we are going to combine like terms. So we have 1 here minus 4. 1 minus 4 give negative 3 minus 4a equals to 7 plus a. So then we have to put the a's on one side and the constant or just the numbers on the other side. Right? So then I'll do minus a over here, minus a over there. Okay, negative 3, negative 4a, negative 1a will yield to negative 5a. So to understand that, it's like you owe 4 banana and then you owe again 1 more banana. That means in total you owe 5 bananas in total, right? Negative means owing. Positive means you have, or you're adding more. So on the right side, it's just going to be 7 because a minus 7. It means like you have 1 banana and then you are owing 1 banana on the other side. That means it's just going to be, canceling each other. Then you have nothing at the end. Alright, so from here, now we want to leave the a alone. We'll do plus 3 and plus 3, right? Because since we have negative 3, to remove that negative 3, we have to add 3. That way it comes to 0. So this goes to 0. We have negative 5 here. And then 7 plus 3 gives 10. From here, we'll divide by negative 5. We'll divide by negative 5. Left with a here. And 10 divided by negative 5 equals to negative 2. Solve the equation for x. So I have 5 over 9x minus 1 over 3 equals to 3. Alright. So the first thing we want to leave the x term alone, whatever, everything else we want to put it on the right side. So we have negative 1 over third here. To get rid of that, we're going to add 1 over third, right? Because negative and then positive, they will cancel each other. Then you remain with nothing on that end. So from here, these two cancel out. On the left side, we'll be left with 5x over 9 equals to 3 plus 1 over 3. And then we want to make the right side to have the same denominator. So we have already one fraction that has a denominator of 3. So I can multiply this by 3 times 3 here. That will be 3 times 3 will be 9 over 3 plus 1 over 3. 5 over 9x, 9 plus 1. Now that they have the same denominator, so 5 over 9x goes to 10 over 3. Then I multiply by 9 here. And I'll multiply by 9 here as well. That way I can cancel these two 9. I'm left with 5x. Then when I cancel these, I'm left with 3 here. It's going to be that 3 times the 10. It's going to be 30. Then I divide by 5. I divide by 5. These go away. I have 5. 30 divided by 5 gives 6. Okay. Oops. Alright. Next one here, they say a car rental. We have a car rental. And there's a car rental agency advertised renting a car for $26.95 per day plus 33 cents per mile. Say if Sean rents this car for 3 days, how many whole miles can he drive for a budget of 250? So here we want to calculate the number of miles based on if you rent your car for 3 days and you have a budget of 350. So you want to do like whatever you're gonna do, it's gonna fall under that budget of 350, right? So we have to set up our equation. In order to find how much Sean owes, based on what we are given, we set the equation as $26.95. If we multiply that by the number of days, which I represent with letter D, and I'm saying plus, if I take the 33 cents, if I multiply that by the number of miles, then the total will give me the total costs. You see that? So but then now here we already know that Sean wants to spend the cost of $250. We also know that Sean wants to take the car for 3 days. You see? So now the only thing that we need to figure out is the M, which is the miles. So then from there, if you go ahead and use your calculator, you do the 26 times 26.95 times 3, you get 80.85 plus 0.33 m equals to 250. Then you solve for m, that means you subtract 80.85 on both sides here. And what do you get? Here goes 0, and then I'm left with 0.33 m here, and then on the right side it's gonna be 169.15. and if you take the 169, you divide it by 0.33, you get m equaling 152.5758. Right, so by the time they say here, round down to the nearest whole number, so that means we're rounding down. The nearest whole number will be 512. Okay, next question here. It says a shop advertised a 25% off sale. If a coat originally sold for, so we write here original price is $255. Find the decrease in price. Find the decrease in price and the sale price. So off by 25%. So first thing we want to know, what is the 25% of 255? To find that, you take 255, you multiply by 0.25%, 0.25. That's what's going to represent the 25% of 255. So if you plug that in your calculator, you get a value of 63.75. This is how much the sale is decreasing by. So for the total costs of 255, your price is decreasing by 63.75. That means if you take the 263.75, you subtract it from the 255, you should get the value of 191.25. So therefore, this is the sale price, this is the decrease.